Um, Welcome, honorable members, to today's Health and Sanitation Committee meeting. And first, allow me to welcome everyone on board of this particular meeting. And in this particular meeting, we are hosting the CECM member in charge of Health and Sanitation and other officers led by Chief Officer, and maybe they will later further introduce themselves for us to know who are the team who accompanied the CCM member. You are most welcome to today's Health and Sanitation meeting. And notice was hereby given that we'll be having this particular Health and Sanitation meeting at this particular GEMPAS, at this particular time, at this particular date. And as the standing orders provide, we are going to start with the first agenda, and that is the prayer. Let us believe and pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important tasks in this county and the Republic of Kenya. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just a faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and the welfare of our county and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. So once again, you are most welcome. And I believe we as the members of this committee, we have been provided with the agendas of today, and just as a direction to the Sergeant at Arms, any other member who is not member of this particular committee are welcome. And members of this house, they are welcome, so that I'll also give them chance to ask one or two questions along the way as we have a discussion on matters health. So members, we want to move to the next agenda, and that is adoption of the agenda as listed in this particular notice. Allow me to welcome members so that we adopt the agenda. Members of this House of this committee.
Honorable Edwin Kiprop, I do propose for the adoption of the agenda.
I propose a 2 second.
Thank you so much, members, for adoption of that particular agenda. So we want to move to the next agenda, and that's confirmation of the previous minutes. But because of the kind of work that is ahead of us, allow me to defer the reading of those particular minutes to the next meeting. But we'll use this opportunity for purposes of introduction. Instead of us going through the minutes, we just want to have a little bit of introduction for us to know who are the members who are here, who are the members of this particular committee. I, myself, Ezra Kipchirchir-Rotich, the chair of Health and Sanitation Committee.
I'm Lisa Chepkemba, vice chair.
I'm Martin Douglas, a member of this committee.
I'm Paul Birech, a member of this committee.
I'm Kemboy Edwin, member of the committee.
Kuto Tufosa, member.
Richard Pett, friend to the committee.
Itzak Mosbey, MCA Captain Mokaboywan.
Thank you so much. Allow me to give the team on this other hand just introduction and maybe your position that you hold.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. Angeline Chepchirchir, CCM, Health and Sanitation Center.
Good morning, Chair and Honorable Members. My name is Fred Kiptum Koskei, Chief Officer, Health and Sanitation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Christine Chebet, County Director of Health Services, Nandi County. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you already know how to use the gadgets in this particular house. And thank you for that. We want to now move to agenda number 4. Clerk, I'm very sure you wrote a letter to the CCM for the invitation. Allow me to inquire from them, did you receive the letter?
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you so much. That builds the basis for us to have the discussion on what we are going to discuss further. So, members, the agenda that we want to begin with is the meeting with the CCM for health and CCM member in charge of health and sanitation on a maternal health care service, an emergency. I think that is the. This is not the question that I wanted to put across. We have the issue on maternal health care service on the county and emergency referral systems in the county. The reason as to why we are here today, honorable members and the team from the department, on September 4th, we held a meeting as the committee members of this particular house. And one matter that arose during the meeting on agenda number 4 of that particular meeting was a maternal death at Chepterwai Sub-County Referral Hospital. There was a case following the death of Nancy Lagat due to maternal complication at Chepterwai Health Center. The matter has generated a lot of public interest, and as the committee, we are tasked to offer the health department, and some of the questions that were raised were as follows. What were the medical circumstances leading to the matter's death, including the timelines and clinical management? Were standard protocols for managing labor and deliveries followed? There was also an issue of, was there a timely and adequate escalation of referral of care when complications arose? What were the contributing factors that led to the medical, systematic, or logistical that led to the adverse outcome? How effective was the communication and coordination among healthcare providers and between facilities and referral centers? So basically, I'm trying to build a case for a discussion for the CCM members and the team to explain to us. Honorable members, I happen to come from a particular ward called Kurgung Surungai ward. And it happened that this particular mother by the name Nancy Lagat comes from my ward. And, it was an unfortunate case that we lost that particular mother due to, we cannot explain further about the same. So we want to hear from the CCM member in charge of health and sanitation on what actually happened. And the first question is this: what were the circumstances leading to the mother's death, including timeline and clinical management? That's the first one. And number 2, were standard protocols for managing labor and delivery followed, especially regarding the retention of the placenta and what have you. So we are not that experts in this particular field, but you are here to explain to us what happened on this particular case. Back to you, Waziri and your team.
Thank you, Chair, and the entire committee. Before narrowing to the case that has led us to having this session today, maternal health care in our county is one of the main focus of our department because it's a very sensitive service. And as we know, the county referral hospital, that is Kapsabet, has been the main facility that receives referrals from all the corners of our county. But in this year, beginning this year, we have had the decentralization of cesarean delivery services. And currently we have Metete Sub-County Hospital in Tintreads, having been upgraded to offer cesarean deliveries to save mothers who used to be transported all the way to Nandales and maybe sometimes to Kapsabet. We also have Mosorios Sub-County Hospital. It's one of those facilities that we have had the upgrading to ensure that they are offering cesarean deliveries. In the pipeline is Kabiet, where the surgical theater, maternity theater, is in its tail end of completion so that it can serve the northern part of our county. Now, having said that, that is one of the one approach that we've had as a department to try and decentralize the emergency care for mothers who may need specialized cesarean deliveries and interventions. Narrowing to the case of our mother, 34-year-old, this was a mother who had had other children before. This was not the first or second delivery. It was the fourth delivery. And she was received as usual, like any other mother is admitted to the facility. She came in early. She was not in active phase of labor. And that is why she stayed, okay, from what we seem to understand is she stayed long in the hospital. But the truth is she came in early, like 18 hours early before active labor. So she stayed in the hospital not being in active labor. And when labor began, we always talk of 4 centimeters of dilatation. That is when the active phase of labor begins. And when that phase reaches, we always, from the protocols that the chairman mentioned, a mother should not delay for more than 8 hours, because it's usually observed that within that time, the dilatation should have reached maximum 10 for delivery to happen. If it doesn't, then it would require someone to be transferred for either surgical intervention or any other intervention. So that assures us that the care she received in the facility was per the protocols that are provided by WHO and those that we have adopted as a county or under our Ministry of Health guidelines. Now, there was a question of what led to the complications. Deliveries always begin as a normal process, but it can take any turn at any time. Sometimes even before the full dilatation, a mother can get tired. So she will need resuscitation in form of fluids, some dextrose, even some may need oxygen, where she just gets tired or her vitals become unstable. There are situations where a mother can bleed even before delivery takes place. But then for the case of Ms. Lagat, she delivered normally to a normal baby. But then this last stage, we call it third stage, where you expect the products of conception is all expelled from the uterus after the baby is born. There was a delay. So usually, immediately after the baby is delivered, you expect the placenta to come out naturally and detach from the walls of the uterus. This did not happen immediately. And what follows usually is you may have excessive bleeding. So there are medicines that are given to mothers just to reduce the amount of bleeding, including syntocinon, that the mother received as per what is provided for. However, this was a unique case where the type of placenta, the placenta itself was firmly attached to the wall of the uterus. And this is a type of placenta, in medical terms, we call it placenta accreta. So it doesn't detach like any other normal placenta that as the uterus is contracting, it should be able to give way So that means it would not detach as expected. And what it means is then the mother would bleed excessively. So the doctor, the nurse attending to the mother, noted that there was a delay in the expulsion of this placenta. Even after trying a manual support to see that it can detach itself, it failed to. So the next intervention was to call for help. And that is when he called within 30 minutes. He made, this was a gentleman. He made the first call to Mosoriot, that we have a case here of delayed placenta expulsion, we may need to refer. So the communication at Mosoriot was they did have a doctor then, maybe they try Capsabit. But then in the meantime, they prepare to bring the patient. So in that process, the communication to Capsabit and the ultimate acceptance that the patient be referred, there was a communication to Kabiemit because we do not have a standby ambulance in Chepterwa. And this probably is the other question that we're going to respond to. So in the meantime, the mother was being taken care of. When a mother is bleeding, we always stabilize by giving IV fluids to ensure that the blood pressure is maintained. And the positioning of the mother to ensure that there is blood flow, enough blood flow to the brain. That was done as they awaited the ambulance. So the ambulance from Kabiemit is the ambulance that was called for to pick the mother from Chepterwa. And we got information that on the way to Capsabit, that is when the nurse realized that the vital signs of this client were deteriorating gradually. So by the time they go to Capsabit, Capsabit was ready to receive the patient and have the patient taken to theater immediately. But then by the time the patient was received, they looked at the vital signs. For a patient to go to theater, you must first of all evaluate if this patient can withstand anesthesia. Even a normal patient, in any other condition. You want to see first, is the blood pressure stable? Is this patient breathing? Is the pulse rate okay? Because it is not just about wheeling someone to theater. Because the moment you instill anesthesia, if the vitals are very poor, then you easily depress and make them, difficult to pick up again post-anesthesia. So the patient was received in such a state. Upon evaluation, they felt that they needed to resuscitate the patient first. Maybe do blood infusion and give oxygen and see that the patient's vital signs would pick up before wheeling for theater. So this is where the eventuality happened, that the patient did not pick up. Basically, the patient deteriorated and pronounced death. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri, for that overview. And since we have a series of questions that will follow your explanation on that particular case, you have mentioned one thing, that there was a condition called placenta accreta. How did you know that in this particular case, this mother had that particular case? How did you know? Was there any, maybe after death, did you request for any postmortem for you to know that there was this particular case? That is number one. Number two, when the mother stepped into the facility, You said she came in 18 hours late before earlier than the time active labor began. Was there any clinical records? Did the mother presented the clinical card which shows the records of clinics she attended? Those are the questions that I want you to expound on the same.
Chair.
Addition.
Yes. In addition, now that the first question from the chair is that, of course, when did you realize that this mother had that problem of the placenta something? You see, was it noticed at the referral, or it was noticed at the place where the mother was giving birth? And now, after realizing that this mother had this problem, you see, I mean, and because you have said this problem, sometimes it can release, the placenta can come out, or it might not come out, you see. And then why was it delayed? Because it was a two-way traffic, you know. You know that it can come out or it cannot come out. And then why was the delay in between, you see? After realizing that this is the condition this mother has, I mean, doesn't it actually gives a signal that this person, must be referred immediately? Thank you.
Okay, let me start with Honorable Balala's question. So that was noticed after delivery, because immediately after delivery, what you expect is a collapse of the abdomen. Okay, the abdomen, as soon as the baby is expelled, there should be a collapse. But when you don't notice that collapse, then it means the placenta remains intact. There are maneuvers that are done, pressing above the abdomen to try and, support the expulsion. If it fails, then you would note that you're not dealing with a normal situation. So the next thing is to try and use, the cord that is hanging on the cervix, isn't it? After detaching the cord, the part that goes with the baby. Then you try to slowly, with some little pressure, exert some pressure, But if you find that it doesn't move, that is where now we physically, or using that observation, you make the diagnosis that this is a type of placenta that is embedded on the wall of the uterus. And that is when now you have to make that decision that this is a case for referral. This is not a case that we are going to manage here. And usually what happens is such a type of placenta, the only management eventually in theater is usually to remove the entire uterus. That is the only way you shut that bleeding, because the moment it's embedded, even if you use surgical means, then you will leave a raw area that will still bleed and lose a lot of blood. So that is how we made that type of diagnosis. Why there are clinical notes on the time that the patient was admitted. The patient was admitted on 30th at 10 p.m. That was a Saturday, 10 p.m. and was managed all the way, and she was examined, she was 2 centimeters. So 2 centimeters is a normal closed cervix for multiparous mothers who have ever had children before. And the same cervix remained so until even the next morning when she was handed over, it was still 2 centimeters. That was 31st on Sunday. At 11:30 a.m., it was still 2 centimeters. And that remained so until she was handed over to the night staff. That was Sunday evening at 6:30 p.m., still at 2 centimeters. So that is why we were saying this mother came early before labor began. So that is one aspect that has been observed, like there was a delay, even she was not in labor. So the labor began, at 8 p.m. there was a review, 8 p.m. of 31st August. And that is when they found that the dilatation now was 3 to 4 centimeters. And that is when we begin to document labor. We use the pathograph to monitor the labor. And that continued. She was 6 centimeters dilated at 11 p.m. So you can see that the progress, now labor had started, and there was that progress. And it moved on. At 3 a.m., she had strong contractions, and she was at 8 centimeters. So you can see labor, the moment the active phase begins, it moves. And this is where now, if you found a mother who has been at 3 or 4 centimeters and the dilatation doesn't move, then you make a decision and say this one is not progressing. This is a case that I need to refer. But for this mother, she progressed from that time, 8 p.m., and she delivered at 4 a.m. A live infant, 3.4 kilograms. So that was a normal labor process that did not really warrant any concerns at that point in time. It's only at the 3rd stage now, after the baby had been delivered, that there was a delay in the expulsion of the placenta, and now subsequently there was this bleeding that followed, and the decision made for transfer.
Okay. Waziri, additional questions. I'm still giving room for 3 or 4 questions on that particular case.
Yes.
Before we expand.
Thank you, Chairman.
A quick one, yes.
I think Waziri has not really, he has explained to us how you can know. And I think he's taking advantage of the fact that she is a medical teacher, so to say. But now the question is, was it at the autopsy, when you carried out, when the mother had died, was it that stage that you realized that she had this phenomenon called placenta crater? Or, and my question actually is, who was this doctor or who was this nurse who was handling this case? And did that nurse or doctor realize that she had this condition of placenta crater? Or it is you who now understands that that was the case that eventually led to death?
Before you respond, before I'll give directions on a particular issue. Mheshimiwa, you have a question?
Yes, I do. And this is a question that touches on we've been informed of this new term called placenta crater. As a layman, and she's tried to explain the kind of action that is always taken in such a circumstances. What I just want to know as a layman, if upon establishing that this woman has a problem or a medical condition called placenta crater, how long should you take, and what are professionals supposed to do to remedy the situation? Having discovered that is the condition, what kind of remedy is it required, and the duration within which should be done before the damage is caused? 2, that is the situation, what is the normal, if that remedy is not taken, or rather, if the placenta creta is not, the repercussion of placenta not coming out, what is the end result? Will it cause death? And if that is the case, what other medical measures is a medical practitioner supposed to do to prevent death caused by such a medical condition? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it's more of a further explanation on this particular case of placenta creta. There's something that I asked, but Waziri, the records that I'm asking was the mother along her pregnancy journey. Did she visit prenatal clinics? You know, because that is something that can assist. Because normally, during the 9 months period, you know, chances are high that she did an ultrasound. If not, you know, there was some other test that was done to show that maybe there is a case here in this particular lady here. So I want you to expound further on that particular case. I don't know if it touches on the same, because, you know, we don't want to be repetitive on questions. CPA, is it a different case or it's more of the same?
I think the question that I really wanted to ask, Chair, is the one you have just asked, because through the 9th month channel, there are various stages.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the question I really wanted to ask. Thank you.
Direct to the point. And allow me to say this. The officers who are here bears the responsibility of what happened. We are not allowed to mention names of somebody who is not here. Whether there was a nurse, whether there was a doctor at that facility, we are not supposed to mention their names here, because, you know, we are supposed to protect their identity. So for now, you are the ones to bear responsibility for questions and anything else that comes along. Stan Kaider, member, thank you.
Thank you. I start with the last. The client attended 4 minimum visits required for any antenatal mother. For those who start their visits early, they can do up to 8. So 4 to 8 is okay. And during this time, there was no potential sign showing that she would have such a complication. She did the ultrasound, that is mandatory, during the first or the second. At the point the mother comes for antenatal clinic, we usually want to get an ultrasound. Ultrasound will help us to see what kind of pregnancy is it. Is it a normal pregnancy? Is it double pregnancy? Is the baby normal? Very early in the pregnancy. For those who come early, others even come very late, but still a first visit. The only way such a complication would have been picked before labor was if there was a repeat ultrasound at 36 weeks of gestation. Now, in our circumstances, we usually don't do a second repeat, or we don't request mothers to have a second repeat. The ideal is you should have a repeat at 36 weeks. That one can pick any potential complication that includes even the cord that could be around the neck of the baby, so that you would not allow such a mother to go through normal delivery. That would require that a mother goes in for cesarean delivery. But that is not a normal practice in our setups. But in our facilities, higher facilities where there are resources, mothers do that as a part of the requirements. What would make one prevent, the complications upon realizing that this is delayed placenta expulsion? The other things that can make a placenta fail to expel, that includes a mother having a full bladder. So before second stage, of labor or going to delivery room, mothers are usually advised to have an empty bladder. If it doesn't happen, catheterization is done so that you release anything that can be an obstacle for the descent of the placenta. Now, upon realizing that this is a placenta that is not being expelled automatically as expected, that calls now for that decision that this is an emergency, because what happens is there's going to be excessive bleeding. When the placenta is expelled, then the uterus contracts, so that the wall that was communicating in terms of the blood vessels will now be squeezed, and those vessels stop bleeding. But the moment it is still, communicating, then the blood is still flowing, and now yet the cord has been detached. So it is only the referral, and referral to a facility where surgical services can be done. And I mentioned that usually a surgical examination and eventual removal of the uterus is the ultimate, because there is no other way you can force that uterus to contract if the placenta is embedded on it. So that required just surgical intervention by a consultant obstetrician gynecologist, not even our MOs. That is why Mosoriot could not do that. The referral would have to be done in Kapsabet. Thank you.
We want to move to the next question on that particular case, but not on these other medical terms. But let me give my vice chair to ask questions.
Thank you, Chair. Waziri, I've heard you discuss about the issue of logistics on the particular matter, especially on the issue of the ambulance. Maybe you can expound on that. And secondly, I don't know how your staff are trained on issues of emergencies and how they responded to the issue at hand by then. And then I've heard you talk of consultants. I don't know if we have any in our county, and how are they distributed to assist on such serious issues.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And Chepterway, does it meet the requirements for a standard maternity center? That is number one. Number two, Waziri, we have those officers that you have mentioned. We cannot mention their names, but do we have a clinical officer? Do we have a CMOH there? Do we have a nurse at Chepterway? And finally, can we now conclude that the death of Nancy was because of delay of an ambulance?
So maybe I just want to ask one more question about it. You told us that the mother was admitted like on 30th, and she was feeling completely nothing for two nights, right? Almost 20 hours. Why was she admitted if she was not in labor? She was not feeling anything. She was just normal. Why was she admitted in the hospital?
Chair, there's something that you've asked that is very critical that I would also want to know the status of employment of people who are working in that facility, whether permanent, whether casual.
I'll guide on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair. And you've asked a question on whether you can rule out that the cause of death is because of ambulance. And I would like to say, based on what Wasiri has said, it is because of the complications that the mother developed. As I'll explain as a layman for the benefit of all of us, what happened clinically is that bleeding continued because within 15 to 20 minutes, the placenta should have collapsed and expelled, but then that did not happen, which is a complication that happens rarely, and which is a complication that we should have. We insist on having 8 ANC visits so that we can detect such complications. As we have indicated that the mother attended only 4 ANC visits, and so this death is attributed to loss of blood or excessive bleeding. The medical term we use is PPH. And so concerning logistical preparedness, we all understand that the delivering facilities in Nandi is that we have 14 health centers that conducts deliveries or maternity that have maternity wings. We also have high volume dispensaries that deliver babies at stage 2 of labor, and we also have 7 hospitals that conducts also deliveries. And so the way we've stationed our ambulances is that we've stationed them strategically so that in case of any emergency in any corner of the county, they can respond within 30 minutes so that the situation can be mitigated. On distribution of consultants, we have 3 consultants, that's obstetric and gynecologist in Kapsabet, and we also have 1 consultant in Nandi Hills, Obskyne in Nandi Hills, to assist with cases from Meteitei and Nandi South. The 3 in Nandi Hills assist cases of Nandi North and Nandi Central. So that is the distribution. On staff in Cheptirwai, we have 7 nurses who are on permanent and 3 clinical officers who are on permanent. And so, Chair, we can confirm to you that we've had quite a number of deliveries, successful deliveries in Cheptirwai, and we are prepared to do deliveries in Cheptirwai all the time. It's only that this is an unfortunate situation, this unfortunate case that a mother developed complications. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. So the matter of ambulance, that we relied on the one from Kambiemit was within our reorganization, since the ambulance in Cheptirwai was in Karach and was undergoing some mechanical repairs. And we all are aware that we had a challenge of payments since July because of the new ETB system. So we are going to ensure that the payments that were due would be done to ensure that the ambulance is released back to Cheptirwai. There is a question of whether Cheptirwai is ready for maternity services. Indeed it is, because it serves an average of 50 mothers monthly. That's not a mean number. They do referrals like 4 on average in a month. And those referrals have been successful. It's only this one case where there was a complication and it led to a death. On Sunday, there was another referral that was done. The mother had a delay in the 3rd stage, and the patient was referred to Mosoriot and was done examination in theater, and the patient was attended. That is confidence in the fact that the staff we have, they're able to make the decisions in time, and they are able to ensure the safety of the patients that pass through their hands. The mother was admitted. When a mother comes to hospital, as health workers, we don't send them home. Especially if the mother is at 38 term. Term means can deliver any time. You don't send them home because the same labor can pick up when they are back, no sooner. Most of them use the piki when coming to hospital. So as long as they are term, we don't mind. There are mothers who are term, they are not in labor, but they are in hospital. And you can see that within that 18 hours, they were able to pick, the active phase of labor picked and they delivered normally. So it is part of our training that we don't send away mothers, because you don't know what would happen when they leave the facility. Unless if she was 36 weeks, 34, you'd not want to give that mother in the hospital. We have consultants. We have 3 OBS-GYN consultants in our county, and they are stationed in Kapsabet, but they cover the entire county. And the reason we have them here for any emergency surgical intervention is because of the facilities that we have in Kapsabet. And this is our referral facility, but they are available to attend to all the mothers. If we station a consultant in Mosoriat, they will not have the value, the value of having each of them, in the sub-county facilities. But we gain maximum value when we have them at our referral facility. The equipment we have in our theater here can handle the more complicated surgeries, and like what is in the sub-counties. I would want Dr. Christine to respond to the issue of the emergency preparedness of our staff. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone, once again. So I'll respond on the emergency preparedness of our staff. Our staff are regularly taken through continuous medical education sessions for emergency preparedness, and explaining what to do in instances where they have a certain situation that they're not able to manage, explaining to them also what to do, who to call, and what interventions to do best to save a life. So in this particular case, the people who are managing this patient in Chepterwai were the nursing team, and they did their best. And they also referred as per the relevant protocols of referral which we have. They had emergency drugs, particularly which are used to stop excessive bleeding during pregnancy, which they administered, but that particular drug was not effective because in the particular case which we had, even if you administer these medications for stopping bleeding, they are not effective because the placenta will actively continuously bleed by virtue of the fact that it is attached to the uterine wall. So the interventions that we put to stop the bleeding don't work. In this particular case, the only remedy that would have worked for this patient is total hysterectomy, that is total removal of the uterus, which would be attached to the placenta. And that can only be done in a facility which has a theater, functioning theater, and also by a specialist gynecologist, of which we have in Kapsabet. In such a case, what's the interventions that would be done to at least enable the mother to reach the hospital? Things like uterine balloon tamponade, uterine artery embolization, IV fluids, and blood products. Now, the staff in Chepterwai Sub-County Hospital administered necessary IV fluids. They didn't have the blood that was compatible with that patient at that time, and so necessitating also the urgent referral. So
and speak to the mic for you to be audible.
Oh, sorry. Yes. So they did not practice the balloon tamponade procedure, but they did practice the urinary artery compression that was done all the way during the process of referral to help to stop the bleeding. So actively, what we do in order to ensure that our staff are prepared for emergencies is always continuous medical education, and particularly for maternity cases, we have weekly online virtual CMEs that's geared towards updating people on what to do when the emergency happens. And we flag any emergency that happened in any hospital within the county. Yes, these virtual trainings are MPDSR reviews, and people learn from each other within the county. Thank you.
Additionally, Chair, I would like to...
As I give you time for that information, as CPA prepares to ask 2 questions, Chief, so Jepterwai doesn't have a theater.
No.
How soon are those people expecting to see a theater or a nearby theater? Number 2, I heard one of you said if that particular instance occurs, it requires 15 minutes. 15 minutes for that particular person to be 15 minutes for intervention to avoid maybe the mother losing blood. So now I'm trying to imagine a referral case from Chepterwai to Kapsabet, knowing the state of the nature of our environment, the road and stuff. It takes 45 minutes. So in other words, if such a particular case occurs in Chepterwai, is there any need for referral? Yet we know the ultimate results that in 15 minutes, I cannot make it. I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So immediately a mother delivers, the placenta should be expelled within 15 minutes to 20 minutes. And if that does not happen, the intervention has to be done. Yes, up to including what Wasiria says, the total hysterectomy, the total removal of the uterus. And so, what you are saying is this, Chair, the ideal situation is that we need to have consultants across our level 4 hospital, such that in case there is a retention of placenta, the patient or the client is prepared for theater within the next 20 minutes for the surgery to be done, and also for transfusion to be done alongside the process. I would like to mention to you, Chair, also that since inception or since the opening of theater of Mosoriot, we've done over 121 surgeries. Look at these surgeries in terms of complications. These are mothers who have complicated, but then we've done over 121 successful surgeries in Mosoriot. That in itself serves Jeptirwai, Kabiyet, and the entire Nandi North. And so we usually train our staff. As our director said, we usually have what we call IMONG trainings so that they can know how to respond to such emergencies. Thank you.
Thank you. To avoid back and forth in questions, CPA.
Thank you, Chair. Waziri, I think we all agree it's very wrong and not right at this juncture to have a maternal death at this era. Completely not acceptable, completely not right. Now, and my question comes in: how does this death now reflect on the overall maternal health care quality in the county? How does it reflect at the moment? Thank you.
Just before I give it to you, Honorable Trufosa.
Chair, I only wanted to know from Masiri the plans they have for other sub-counties for the theaters.
It's more of the
such
same question.
Issues should not appear.
Yeah.
So what plans do you have?
I'm very sure if they can respond to those 2 questions, they can, must be a burning one.
Yeah, still on the...
Hope you are noting, Waziri. Hope you are noting the questions.
Still on the late Nancy Lagat. Now, Nancy arrived at the facility, and you talked of what prompted her to come from the history, what prompted her to come? Yet, apparently, the labor had not set in. Couldn't that have pointed to a possible trouble?
Thank you. Maybe I start with the last question. Usually mothers encounter what we call false labor. So from 36 weeks onwards, they can have false labor. The false labor, they get some contractions, pain in their back, and so forth. And sometimes it might not be explicit whether this is the beginning of labor for delivery or anything else. So they come to hospital because of that. Yeah. I want to assure this committee that our county is rated among the best 4 in this country when it comes to maternal care. I think that was documented, and we all have that reference. So this one episode.
Rated by, it was rated by who?
PSI. Population.
Do you have a report?
Yes. So let the director pick it, and then we can circulate. So that is a confidence, really, that regardless of whatever circumstances, we are doing the best. No mother should die. Nobody really, because we know the gap that is left behind by a mother. She's left her baby and the entire family, without her, there's a lot of damage to that family permanently. It doesn't mean our care in this county is poor. We deliver about 4,000 mothers every year. Kapsabet does about 380 to 400 monthly deliveries. Our facilities, they do around 50. For Cheptero, around 50. Mosoriot is even more because of the referrals, apart from the normal deliveries. So we really have the best that we are able to do within our powers. However, we can still make this better. And those interventions we've mentioned, including ensuring that we have caveats upgraded with a maternity theater to be able to handle the cases from far north. But we still know that Cheptirwoi is the far-flung area of our county, and they deserve a maternity theater. It is part of the main construction that is ongoing. When that building is completed, one of the theaters there would serve for the maternity services. There's something else that I think one of our Mheshimiwa Kuto mentioned or asked is, what could we do despite if there is such a kind of an emergency? This also calls for collaboration with the private institutions around us. It doesn't matter whether this is Francis and Mother Francisca or this is another private institution. If there are private institutions who can handle an emergency at that point in time, that is the first intervention that should happen before referring the patient to whatever area of jurisdiction within our county. And this is one intervention that we have spoken to our health service providers, that in the event that we get a critical case like this one, the Hope Hospital, which is at Chepsaita, which is, I think, 15 minutes drive, and they have a maternity theater, can actually serve as a referral point just to ensure we stabilize the patient before we reroute the patient back to our referral facility. So that is one other intervention that we've put in place just to help us as we ensure that we get the theater up and running in Kabiet and subsequently in Chepterwai. Taking cognizance of the road network, that sometimes when it rains, it is not easy to travel as fast as would be required. Now, we have other facilities like Kaptumo. Kaptumo sub-county doesn't have a maternity. And in this year's financial budget, we have put resources to build a maternity theater there. So we hope that is going to be completed. It would serve, you know, that area. And also the upcoming of the Kobujoy facility that is supported by M-Pesa Foundation. That building or the construction work will have a maternity theater. So that will also support the far-flung area in Aldai. So we also would want to ensure that blood transfusion services, currently we are able to offer blood transfusion in the facilities, about 4 facilities, yeah. So we would wish to expand the same to Chepterwe and ensure that because of the distance, they can be well attended to as part of the emergency. One intervention during emergency, apart from IV fluids, is blood transfusion. So that blood transfusion would come in handy when we have such. We have a blood transfusion vehicle that we acquired this year. It is being branded. It's been paid up for. That will also ensure that we can, if there is an emergency, we can have blood transported to whichever area, and that can support the patients in their management. Thank you.
Chair, I know we are running out of time.
Yes.
But again, I just want, it's a general question, because, Mr. Chair, through your indulgence.
Yes.
I mean, you can see, you can just, I mean, see the brains before us here, you know? And bearing in mind that these people hails from Nandi County, they don't come from far. And you can hear, I mean, the hula baloo people are talking about in terms of our health facilities, you know? Now, this begs the question. Now, with the CEC, I mean, I admire your intelligence in the whole thing. But now, I mean, why is it that you're not getting the right space? I mean, to implement the kind of ideas that you have? Or what is the problem? Because I remember the last time when we were interviewing you here, we knew that, I mean, we have gotten the right person for the right job. But, I mean, you can see we still have these problems, you know? I'm trying to imagine, I'm trying to ask myself a lot of questions. I mean, is the CEO not giving you the right space to do whatever you want to do? You know, because, I mean, all of you are intelligent, but we are having a lot of problems in the whole country, you know, in our facilities, in everywhere. People are crying because of our facilities, in terms of services, in terms of drugs and everything, you know. Well, I mean, we have good brains like you. Madam, what is the problem?
The chair, please.
Oh, okay, through the chair, thank you.
Any other general question? We want to, very quick, no, Mosbe, let's go to Josephat first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am Honorable Josephat Bet, MCA Kaptel Kamuyo, a friend and interested party to this committee. My question, goes directly to the department that is headed by both CEO and Waziri. Waziri, I think yesterday I make a call to CEO, whom we have been, I've been making a call to him frequently, all the time, and he has been responding. The last time I met you, Waziri, you know very well, I was dressed sharply and I attended your office. I remember vividly, you told me, my gentleman, remove your cap, you are in a public office. And I had forgiven you because I know you are dealing with students back in campus. I forgiven you because
Honorable Josephat.
Chairman, it is how it is.
I want you to stick to the
It is a general question.
It's a general question that touches on matters health.
Yes, I'm going there.
Can you go direct to the point,
yes.
please?
Waziri, you are unfriendly.
And that is why you have been not making, engaging one-on-one with you. I'm engaging with CEO. This man is overworking. Since that scenario which happened in this county, this man changed the direction directly, and he has been delivering. The only person
just what I
which
don't
I
want
have
to rule you
a
out of
problem
order.
is
I want you to
Waziri.
ask questions directly.
Waziri, I called you reminding you about a state of Tamboya dispensary. You didn't pick my call. You didn't respond to message. I called CEO. He responded, and we had some engagement about a nurse in charge in Tamboya dispensary who is in a sick leave. She has been absent for almost 1 week. So I wanted to ask Waziri, are you aware that nurse in Tamboya she's not around?
Thank you. Note that.
She never responded. She never picked the call.
That's why you're asking the question. That's why you are here.
Waziri is just concerned with the tracing mode.
Honorable Josephat, you are out of order. Next question. Next question. Honorable Sarah.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I'm Honorable Sarah Mutwal, Kosrai Ward. So my concern is that my question goes direct to the CEO, and I have another general one. So, Mr. CEO, there is a proposed, dispensary in Jepterit. Construction has been done, but you went ahead paying the contractor, and the place is not in good conditions. All the windows are unlockable. The way the doors were placed, they were raised up that there's a gap between the floor and where the door is. Anything can get in. But you went ahead paying the contractor, and the contractor left it aside. He has not been seen again. I raised this concern, and I went to the CC's office. I told her about the state of that dispensary. Okay, and then she told me that you can also try to help me in those sense. So what could I do?
Thank you.
And even the director came. I don't know what position is Bungay and another gentleman. They saw the windows are unlockable. The keys were just left in the nearby home. So, and another question is that to the CEC, we have several maternity facilities around the county. They are not operational. They have all the equipment that have been placed there. For example, in Dubeneti, we have this one of Kingwal. Any other time, we ask why are they not operational?
Yes, I want you to very specific to the question. Yeah.
Any other time, they say that staff. So is there value for money? And yet everything has been put there, beds are
You're explaining again, Mheshimiwa.
So the question is that,
yes,
why are they not operational?
That is now a good, better question.
Okay, thank
you. You know, we want to, allow me to guide this particular proceeding here. It's good that you have given an explanation as to why that particular question on that particular facility. Because if we narrow down to individual facilities, we cannot get the real picture of what is happening across the county. We want a question that touches, on all issues across our counties. The question from Honorable Jospat, yes, on the issue of human resource. I think that's something that you can respond. And, embedded to that particular specific case as to why we have no nurse at that particular facility. Same to other facilities, which, there are cases whereby we don't have a nurse at a particular facility, we don't have a clinical officer. And another question, well questioned by Honorable Sarah, is on the state of the ongoing projects. And finally, from Honorable Maindi.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'm Honorable Eliud Kirwa Maindi, MCA from Terik Ward. I hail from the far end of Nandi County, as per the area that I come from. We have been having challenges across the dispensaries that we have within Terik. it has come out as a concern. So we have Kipsigak bye-bye. We had no staff to assist there. So that is a question that has gone more than 4 months, and we have been trying to reach out for that assistance. It has become also difficult also. Another thing also is that there was some renovation works to be done at Kapsamoch dispensary. And the contractor had received an award, but up to date, there was public participation done, and now the slogan on the ground is that pesa imefuchwa imekulwa. So that's another concern also that I have. And finally also the request is that we have been having a challenge across all over the county. The disconnect between the brilliant minds that you have at the moment and the common mwananchi. What is the department doing so that you can sensitize our people to feel what we are offering to them, so that they can applaud what you have done? Because you've talked well, but it's not being felt on the ground. Recently we received some disbursement of drugs. Sightings also it was received on the ground, but the common mwananchi did not even feel that the drugs were there. Is there a way that you can share through the ward admin, through the MCS office, and the other stakeholders, so that you can feel that there are some services being given within our county? That's another way that I was to share also. And finally is that during the referrals, there is something that Waziri said, that someone can be attended from any private hospital for the emergency case. And we've seen a challenge raised by the electorate, that when someone has been assisted from the private facility, when they call for an aid, maybe from the ambulance through the department to assist them, it becomes a challenge that it's a referral from the private entity. Can we also give us way forward so that our people can be assisted? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just for purposes of guidance, thank you so much, honorable members. You know, the reason as to I'm trying to moderate is because we had specific questions that or other agendas that are here on the issue of maternal health care, and the issue of we have another issue on update on the progress of social health insurance. So those questions, despite the fact that they might be out of this particular case here, it's a very critical issue that they have been asked by those honorable members. So I'm giving you less than 3 minutes, Waziri, to respond to those questions, and maybe later we can still have another chat on, on those specific cases. And as you summarize, what is your assurance to the mothers that are expectant as they go to our facilities to deliver? What is the assurance?
Okay. So I want to start from the last question. I assure our mothers and the entire county that our facilities are safe. There are no facilities within our region that are better than ours. We have the capacity to offer the best care for our mothers, and we've done so, and we continue to do it. The referrals from private facilities who want to come to public hospitals, we do accept the referrals. What happens is, when a case or a client goes to a private facility, by choice, when they complicate, when they find challenges, difficulties in that facility, you want to come to the public, not because you're being referred. You see, we need a referral to say this cannot be done here, so they are being referred. So you do self-referral. You did self-referral to the private. Now you want to do self-referral to a public facility. That's where we usually have a discrepancy. But for any emergency, if somebody drops sick here, you don't choose which facility you want to go. You need to enter any facility for stabilization, and then subsequently you are referred to the area of interest. Why we have been advocating that our citizens use our facilities, we are looking at the share reimbursements. So there's no need for us to pick patients from their homes and take them to private facilities because they get the share reimbursements to that private facility. So we were trying to protect our territory in that case to ensure that we get the reimbursements to help us build our hospitals. When it comes to communication, it is the responsibility of all of us. Our honorable members in the assembly are our agents, they are our stakeholders in health. You're the people to communicate, you know, whenever you have the barassas or meetings, together with the provincial administration. Because healthcare is a multi-sectoral service. Everybody has a responsibility. One thing we've noted is our citizens have always been so negative. Somebody is speaking out there and saying there's no medicine in these facilities. But if you ask, when were you last in the facility? They don't even remember. So we all have to work on the change in terms of attitude. I wish that our member from Temase would have been here, Honorable Balala. He talks about why are we not shining. I would have asked him, is there a slight difference that he has seen in health service delivery? Is it as worse as where it was? Maybe. Maybe I'm using a different lens. But then I have a strong belief that we are better than where we were, maybe in February. Today we have medicine in our facilities. That's a plus, you know? Our referral facility services, we have ensured we had 8 active ambulances, we have 12 stationed in various corners of our county. So maybe we do not have the best platform to communicate, but then we are doing our best as a department. We have started digitization of services. We have only waiting for the staffing, which is now coming. And we have started to receive, okay, a few of our staff have received the letters. And that has been the shortfall. Because without staff, when you have volunteers, you cannot demand for quality. You cannot demand for results when you're working with volunteers. Because if anything, you are at their mercy. They can choose not to come the next day. So that is a circumstance that we have been working with since January, since when I joined the department. But then as soon as we get the letters for the few, then we can work with that to ensure that we are able to push them and demand for results. When it comes to, so the issue of staff, all of us were aware of the challenge that has been there. What would we have expected if half of the staff leave for home? You know, it means the facilities were left without staff. The few were there were redistributed. So that if you have one person in a dispensary when they are sick, it means you close that dispensary. The next dispensary has also one person. You can't pull that one to come there. So that is the thin balance that we've been facing as a department. It's not easy to pick one person and put in another because everywhere is operating with a single staff, especially for the dispensaries, which forms the bulk. We have 133 dispensaries in our county. So we, as a department, we are doing our best with the digitization that we have impressed. Where I'm seated, I'm able to see this facility is open. Even Tamboyo, I'm able to see that there was no services. And the question is, when you call, there is no staff because someone is sick. So working with, I know 1 week is too long a time, but then because of that challenge of staff and reorganizing to see who can we get to get to that facility. And I talked with Mheshimiwa that by Monday we would have somebody to stand in. So this is a challenge because of staff. It doesn't mean that we are insensitive in our department because we know there are mothers coming for vaccines, babies coming for vaccines. Really, there's no need of failing them by not having the facility opened. So the issue of staff is going to be slightly better in the few weeks, maybe 2 weeks, when we redistribute the few that we will have had. Now, the challenge of staff, why are we not employing enough? We all have this regulation that we're operating at 46% of our wage over budget on wages, isn't it? Going forward, if it becomes a success, health should be delinked from the rest of the county staffing. The health budget, we should even use 70% of the health budget to employ staff because it's a service. We don't need the brick and mortar. If we have the service, the people who operationalize the services is where the bulk of our budget should actually go. Because you can have the buildings, but if you do not have the staff, then the services will not be there. And this is what we are facing now. There are very many facilities that are complete, others near completion, but we do not have staff. Because the same thing will happen if I bring one staff. The moment they are not there, the facility is shut. We are still back to the same story. So that is a debate, Chairman, that we will have maybe to sit in a different forum and look at what are the best ways. There are many projects that are ongoing. Some are completed, some are near completion. But operationalizing is our challenge, even if they are equipped, because equipping is a one-time off intervention. But where are the staff? And the budgets for the utilities, the water, the electricity. If we look at our budgets, we always run at a deficit. So it requires a whole overhaul on how we finance our budgets. And we were looking forward to SHA being active, enabling us to get additional resources to be able to plow back now and improve service delivery on our own, because SHA becomes one of our own source revenue. Because if we look at the others, the county own source revenues, we really do not have much of it. Then the UHC staff, Kipsigak bye-bye, what is it called? Kipsigak bye-bye. We had a UHC staff. We all know the UHC staff that gave us problems. They were on-off duty. The facility in charge was a UHC staff. And up to today, when the others returned in May, she refused to come back. You know, she's still on strike herself, that she requires to see that they are absorbed permanently and then she can come back. So that is a story with the ministry. Those ones with disciplinary issues will be handled. But then now, internally, as a department, with the few staff that we're going to receive, we'll ensure that we assign one person to that facility to take over and ensure that the services run. So the last one is on the contractor. CEO would talk about.
Okay. Thank you so much, Wasiri. So, Chair, as alluded by Mheshimiwa Maindi, the contractor assumed side, but then has not progressed. And so the law provides that if the person does not, there are provisions in the law that within 6 months we should be able to terminate that contract. So we will explore and see that we terminate the contract and give another contractor. On Chepterit, I can confirm that the payment was done after certificate was raised by the Public Works as per the BQ, but then we retain 10% of the amount for in case of eventuality. So we have the 10% that if there is any area that is not well done, we should be able to use that money to do the repairs. And also the bigger picture is to operationalize that facility with the employment of staff. We should be able to operationalize Chepterit dispensary. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Waziri and CEO, for that response. We want to move to the last set of questions, which are basically on the next agenda, and that is on SHA. We are going to use the shortest time possible. And I have 2 or 3 questions. I hope someone else will still include questions. The first one is, before I give it to Honorable Hedwin, how far are you generally on SHA? That is number 1. 2, what are the challenges on this particular SHA? And finally, what is the future of SHA in our county? Honorable Edwin.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Waziri, what is the current registration for SHA in Nandi County, and how does it compare nationally? That's my first question. My second question is that what strategy and outreach programs has been used to increase SHA registration in the county? Thank you, Chair.
Respond, Waziri.
Thank you, Honorable Edwin, and through the chair. So our registration currently, we are at 51%. Yeah. That means about half of our population. And we are position 12 nationally, and we've remained so. We were position 18 in February, so we've just moved 6 positions upwards. And we hope to move. Mombasa is ahead at around 68–69%. But Mombasa was the first one, and they utilized the national machinery because they moved at a go to 50. So far, they've only added maybe 18% of their own. Nevertheless, the higher the percentage, the better. We did a number of RRIs, rapid response initiatives, through the CHPs. We did mobilization, we did using our public address system, trying to persuade people to register. What I want to report is over 80% of our principal members, those are the citizens who are principal members in our county, have registered. But the missing numbers are the dependents. Why are the dependents not onboarded in the registration? The reason is the IDs. Our citizens do not have IDs. They don't have birth certificates for their children, and that is a major problem that we are facing. So some do not have even the phone numbers, but the main challenge is the IDs. And this also is giving us a problem because there are people who come to hospital, they are sick, they want to be served. They are not registered on SHA, but they are sick. What do you do? Because of the, and you know, okay, from both humanitarian point of view, you cannot send them away. So there are a number of patients who receive what are in quotes, free services. There are mothers who come, they deliver, they do not have IDs. The law only provides that we can register those who are underage. But then you have an adult woman, 35 years, 40, they don't have an ID. Then you offer services to such a person, but you cannot claim. So those are some of the challenges that we have. Nevertheless, SHA is a good thing. It's a good model that has improved service delivery across the county and even in the entire country. But then there is a delay in payments. We closed the financial year with unpaid claims of about 65 million. And so far, I think what has been paid is about 50% of that, 3 months later into the year, into the new financial year. So there is an acute delay in reimbursements. And that is also hampering service delivery because services have been rendered, we are not getting resources. I want to report to this committee that the facilities run purely on SHA. All our sub-county and county facility, our referral health facility here has a budget of about 15 million monthly. And it purely runs on SHA reimbursements. So SHA is really a good intervention, a good initiative that has ensured that the facilities are able to run. The resources are not tied to the exchequer processes like what we are seeing now, the delays in, in the EGP systems and all that. So SHA, Honorable Edwin, is something that really is going to help us meet the demands, the needs of our communities. However, we need a change in the health-seeking behavior, people to turn up for healthcare when they need and also in time to avoid the complications that are usually very costly in terms of management.
Chairman.
Thank you, yes.
As a rejoinder, yeah?
Yes.
On matter SHA. Do we have, Wasiri, do we have any facility, primary facility across Nandi, which has received remittance from national government? I mean, on SHA, any amount which can be used as a success story to any other facilities across, which can also make us a moral motivation to those facilities. You know, when we talk of SHA, money will be given from national government. Do we have any dispensary, any facility, primary facility across the county, which can go around the county, speaking of SHA contribution? You know,
I want to give
basic maths.
Chief, the accounting officer, to speak about it. The figures he sees.
Okay. Thank you so much, Wasiri. And Chair, as asked by Honorable from Captel Kamoiwa, I would like to say SHA is a success story for many facilities, not even one. Maybe I can use one example. The best dispensary in Nandi that does SHA claims is Chepkongony. Chepkongony, they've received disbursement to almost 2 million. We also have Soba River. They've received up to almost 2 million. Those are dispensaries. And when we come to health centers, we have the best health centers being Kapkangani, Kibuareng, Kilibwani. They've received, for Kilibwani, they've received like up to 2 million. And these are funds that the committee, the management of the hospital plans for improvement of services. For example, Chepkongony, they bought drugs worth 800,000. They bought resuscitator. They've really equipped their maternity. And to a point, even the mothers who come to that facility, they take Uji, whether you are coming for ANC or tea for the inpatient. And so, like even Soba River, everybody who comes for services in Soba River, as a mother, you are given tea because they have sufficient drugs. So they go for now improving other services. They've even equipped their maternity. And so SHA is a success story. What we are urging our people is that they need to register, because when you register, you are giving this facility capacity to claim for the service they render.
Thank you. Maybe through Chair and Wasiri and CEO, I think you should publish all the dispensaries vis-a-vis their contribution or the amount they have received, so that they can give them motisha or morale to other dispensaries facilities. I think that is a success. When a dispensary from Tamboya had that we have a Jeb Kunyuk, which has received 2 million, I think they will just roll their sleeves, and the community health promoters will go to villages registering more patients to share. I think congratulations, CEO.
Thank you. Thank you on that particular case. Any other member with a question before we move to closing remarks?
I think I have, my issue is actually, I have two issues, through your indulgence, Mr. Chair. One, I mean, Mr. CEO, I've been to your office, I've been making a lot of calls to you. I mean, what is this Kibongo dispensary that you don't want to finish it? From the year 2018 up to date. I mean, these are the issues that, I mean, I don't know what I can even say about it. There was a budget for it, Mr. Chair. Then, you see, there was no work done. You know, the project is stalled. The people doesn't get the value of their money. You see, when I go there, and I've always been telling you, I've been calling you, I've been asking you, please, can I get the final remedy for that today? Two, Mr. Chair, I'm told there was a facility that was being handed over yesterday by Karebe Gold Mine. The CEC and the CEO, I don't know who was there. And I mean, Mr. Chair, the CEC or the CEO came to my place even without telling me that I'm here. I mean, can they be a bit courteous even to tell me that, hey, Mheshimiwa, I am here, are you around? Were you invited? You know, it is courteous, you know. Other than just popping in, people are asking me, oh, where are you? We have Waziri here, we have CEO. I mean, gentlemen, I mean, we shouldn't work that way. It is important that when you're coming to a place, if the MCA, the area MCA, should know that you are coming. You cannot just pop in like a thief. I mean, it is not good. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Trufosa. Those are last questions.
Okay, Chair, I'm still on the share registration. We still have many challenges in registration of share. Is it because of the CHPs are not going round enrolling those people? You know, some other CHPs are not active. So we need to look into those people. Some have even started something to do with campaign. They are even not honoring the MCA. So we need to look into those CHPs. Secondly, is about the amount for the vulnerable people, the elderly, and those disadvantaged community people. So the amount is becoming a problem. You can get somebody being enrolled with around 800 shillings per month and is really poor. He or she has nothing. And you can even get somebody else being enrolled with 300 shillings or 500 shillings. I don't know how do they enroll, how do that amount come. So it is becoming a big problem in the grassroots. So tell us how we can sort that issue. Finally, it's about the payment of the whole year for the share. It is still a big problem. We need to see even 4 months can be better for a patient to pay 4 months so that he or she can be taken care of. So thank you. That is my main issue.
Thank you so much, Honorable Trufosa. Mheshimiwa Kirongo, do you have anything to?
Thank you, Chair. Just to appreciate what SHA is doing, a case in Kapkangan and Kipsugur in my ward. So I think we need to, you need not to relax. At least we need to see the, more registration going on. My point question is, we have small dispensaries across the county. A small dispensaries, for instance, we have one called Mokwa Dispensary, and I know in other wards they are there. They seem to be forgotten, as per se, because they have their own challenges. Why, if for instance, particular now that we don't have enough staff, why don't you merge with some health centers, for example, a dispensary, health center like Kapkangani, to assist so that to relieve, because that dispensary at times we have one nurse. She can be there on Monday and Thursday. The other days she's not there. So take note of that, Bwana CEO and Madam Waziri, so that at least such dispensary as being considered. That is my point. Thank you.
Thank you so much. When you are done with those questions, we will do closing remarks from every officer who is here. And as you respond on the case from Honorable Balala on a particular facility, there is also a facility called Kamwega. Kamwega in Sangalo Kebronik. Kamwega. Yeah, so respond to those questions.
Thank you, Honorable Kirongo. I'm happy you have a thought and a good idea that as a department we've been grappling with that, with the very many dispensaries in all areas of our county. And as a department, we might not operationalize them as a standalone. can we make them outreach stations? But we know the outcry, you know, the politics around it. But I'm happy you're one of those who can help us to demystify and see that it can create more impact than spreading the thin stuff too thin. It does not make us feel their impact. An example is Kolelach in Tindred. We are having outreach services every Wednesday, served by the sub-county facility, so that every Wednesday the facility is open. So all the residents and mothers come for antenatal, they come for immunization of their children. And the impact is far much better since we do not have a staff station there. I want to mention that our CHPs may be having a few challenges, Honorable Professor. We are aware that some of them face challenges, either because of technology, and also some because of their personal issues. But then there was a challenge with ICHIS, the system that they are working on. It failed them for about 4 months, and it actually pulled them down. And the moment people are not working, before they pick up again, there's some form of inertia. Otherwise, they are the main helpers that we have, because we onboarded them to be actually registration agents. Yet that was not really part of their primary roles at the beginning. But then we endeavored to continue training them. We had training for about 120 of them. We picked 20 from each sub-county and had a training as TOT so that they can go back and, you know, share the same messages to their colleagues. So that onward continued training is meant to continuously support their capacity to deliver. But then I want to mention that the entire county is not covered. We have areas without community health units. And the reason is we do not have the resources. National government supported us to pay half the stipend of 2,500 for 1,400 CHPs, yet we have 1,520. So the county is paying the 120, but then we need an additional 50 units that would require employment of an addition or recruitment of an additional 500 community health promoters. But then we do not have the resources, or we do not have a budget for it. In the means testing, apparently the system has been configured that when you enter certain parameters, it gives you a figure. That one is online. And it might look like it's biased, but we don't know how it captures one's attributes or indicators that have been put in the system. It's not easy to change that one. Because we are told it goes back, Safaricom goes back to see how much money have you received through M-Pesa, what else in the past. So somebody may really be, you know, helpless, but then they receive some support here and there. And the system will capture that you have some income or you're better than another person. So usually that is a challenge, but government requested counties to put some budget and register indigents, identify those who can't pay completely and pay for them. So in our department, we promised that in this financial year, in our first supplementary, we had not budgeted for, we'll try to create 12 million for the indigents, those ones who cannot pay completely for themselves, regardless of what mean testing they have. So it's upon ourselves, and including you, Ashimiwa, if you find those individuals, have their details, and let us have them, because after our first supplementary, we'll be able to support a few of them to pay for their share premiums. Now, I want to mention something about visiting the ward without notice to the area MCA. I want to apologize if we did not mention that we were going to be in your ward yesterday, but we were doing a supervisory visit to Chemase Health Center. That was our primary point where we were going to. And I know you know about Chemase, isn't it? What is happening in Chemase. But then, in the process, we have the committee of KPSM who told us they are going to have the KPSM, the Karebe team coming to the facility. They had called us in the past, I passed by in July, and they were starting the construction works. Really, I did not know that they had completed that facility. Yeah. So, I would apologize that I did not call you to say I'm here. Yes, it was not the primary destination. Then I would also wish that you allow us, when we come to your place, allow us to come like thieves, yeah, occasionally, because we also want to see what is happening in your area, isn't it? Without notifying you. But unless we are coming to launch projects, you know, we really would have to work together, yes. But this one did not have anything to do with, you know, projects. We were just doing our supervisory visit. And there's a lot that we'll need to discuss about our Chemase facility. I would want Chief to talk about the last.
Thank you so much, Chair.
Was it okay?
So on share registration also, we would like to inform this committee that one, we've rolled out Taifa Care in all our facilities, and that it requires you to register share so that you can access the service. So in essence, we will have 154 registration centers with all the service points, and we expect the share registration to go up. On two projects, Kibongwa and Kamwega. Kibongwa, we have a budgetary allocation. The only challenge we've had with Kibongwa is resumption or taking up of site by contractors. I've had to terminate the contracts of 2 contractors who do not take site because of, I don't know whether it's the terrain or what is happening in Kibongwa. And so, Mheshimiwa, we are cognizant and we really feel for you because this project is long overdue. It was done up to a lintel level, and then the contractor vacated site, so we've had to source for other contractors. For Kamwega, we do not have a budgetary allocation for construction of a dispensary. We have a building, I think it is occupied by the National Administration, and so I was in discussion with the area MCA on how we'll do budgeting of construction of a dispensary in Kamwega. Thank you.
Oziri and your team for those response. And I want to give you 2 minutes for closing remarks so that we summarize today's meeting.
So my closing remarks is first to say thank you for this session that we have had. And we, as a health department, we welcome all questions and inquiries pertaining health service delivery. And we always strive to improve. And we also strive to demystify any issues or challenges that are seen in the community. From my end, I want to request, as we meet with the members of the community, let us keep on urging them to have health-seeking behavior, keep on checking on them, have they registered with SHA or not. Some of them are still disbelieving that SHA is working. Others are also appreciating the difference that they have seen with SHA. And together, we're going to make a difference in the health service delivery. From my end, we are going to strengthen health systems, continuing education amongst our staff, and also pinpointing where we are having gaps and taking our staffs for training. We also acknowledge that there are a lot of staff shortages. We request your support in requesting for the Nandi County Public Service Board to employ our staff. We need more doctors. We need more nurses. We need more lab officers, radiologists for better healthcare service delivery. Thank you so much. Asante.
Thank you, Chair. On my closing remarks, I would like to say that we thank this committee for continually oversighting on us and pushing us to offer the best. And from our end, we give our level best. This is a department that you do not work with your mind alone. You work with your mind, your soul, your passion, everything. You give your level best. We even go beyond the call of duty. We work beyond even the salary. We work beyond, we sacrifice literally everything because it touches on human life. And so whenever you commend us positively in areas that we've scored so that we can have motivation to work further. When you hit on us, we are almost collapsing. Thank you.
Mine is to say thank you to the committee and the assembly at large for inviting us. This is a good opportunity so that we can discuss and get the status update of where we are and the continued partnership, really, that you're our key stakeholder, you're our partner, you're our pillar. When it comes to resource mobilization and allocation, you stand with us, and we really applaud you for that. You are our nearest in terms of the county leadership. You know us best. You know where our needs are, our priorities are, and we continue to depend on you to be our advocates for resource, allocation, and more so on the staffing issue. But we are going to surmount. I am very confident and clear in my mind that given, by close of the year or when we clock 1 year with the digitization, we are going to be different. So we strive to work together and ensure that we get the best for our citizens. Let's help them to change their mindsets. And not only in health, even in economic engagements, social engagements, so that they live health and better quality lives. Asante sana.
Thank you so much. Before we adjourn, Vice Chair, closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair. I want to appreciate the team for coming and more so for the meticulous explanation on the issue that we had as a committee. We want to wish you the very best as you work hard to ensure the service delivery is enhanced. So far, so good from your explanation and your ideas. We can see that health will improve. And with the combination of FIF and SHA, actually, there's some things that will not be happening at this era. Want to see you people doing the very best. And more so to Cherwai Maternity that was launched by our president. And having him branded as a SHA person, I sincerely believe that you make it operational and make it the very best maternity ever in our county. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my Vice Chair, and I appreciate every one of us who came here today so that we have this engagement, starting with the team from the department and the members of this committee, and also friends of the committee who came in in handy to ask questions. We appreciate your responses, and we still expect more engagements going forward, and we will be having regular consultative meetings. And besides that, we will be, our job as the committee and the House is, we are given the mandate by the standing orders to do representation, oversight, and legislation. If you have any piece of legislation that needs to be ratified in this House, we are always here to assist you so that we pass those legislation. In terms of representation, the reason as to why you are seeing members here, raising questions that touches on their ward is because that is their job. Their job is to represent their people from the ground. Giving them issues, giving information on behalf of the people. But we believe we have confidence that you will always deliver on what you have been given. On the oversight part, we will always be there. You'll be receiving letters, you'll be receiving invites to this House for us to get to know most of the time what is happening across our health department. Otherwise, I appreciate your coming, and we say thank you. Continue doing the Lord's work, as said by Kiptum. And there's always a saying that who much is given, much is much is expected. You know, they always say, you know, in this county, the department that is given the largest budget is the health department. That is a story for another day. We still expect much from you. Do your level best. Therefore, this meeting now moves to the last agenda, and that's adjournment. Members of this committee, I invite you.
Honorable Edwin Kiprop, I do propose for that adjournment.
I, Martin Douglas, second for the adjournment.
Thank you so much. The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you so much. Till next time. Asante sana.